Welcome into the channel. My name is Grizzy. Today we're going to go through a quick tier list with the new updates. There are legend balance updates that are going live on June 29th for the Genesis Collection event. Now there's going to be an entirely different meta with these changes, and we are going to get into the first legend who did receive changes for this patch. First up, we have Octane, where his launchpad cooldown was nerfed from 60 seconds to 90 seconds. So Octane is the first legend that we will talk about, and I did recently make a video about the impact that Octane has had on the meta, and there are even plenty of people that call this current state of the game the Octane meta or even the Octane era. Now Octane is insanely useful because he helps to push other teams. You know, that jump pad allows your entire team to get height. It helps your entire team to quickly gain distance, whether that's closing the distance towards fights and towards third parties, or it gives you distance to disengage and to get away from a fight. Now I think that Octane, even with this jump pad nerf, Octane remains S tier for me. You could even see this legend being run in the ALGS, which is the largest Apex tournament in the world, because he's critical to the team's success and he makes other legends like Revenant and Crypto much better as well. Alright, so next, let's talk about Revenant. They did slightly slim down Revenant's hitbox. I'm going to show those two different hitboxes. You do see he is much chunkier in that previous form, and they did thin Revenant down. And he also had his Stalker climb height that was significantly increased. It's not unlimited now, but he can climb really high. They did show footage of Revenant climbing to the top of that construction building in Capital City, and they also added in that the silence duration, so when you get hit by his tactical ability, it's now only going to affect you for 15 seconds instead of the 20 seconds before. And then they also, this was a huge change, they reduced the duration of death protection by 5 seconds while using the death totem. So now when you go into that shadow form, you are able to be a shadow for 5 seconds less. 5 seconds to the death totem is still going to be huge, going to negatively affect him a little bit, but we're going to be seeing a lot more Revenants around with that crazy cool heirloom. I think that heirloom is actually sick. Revenant is still an A tier because Octane is a character. Octane's jump pad still gives you so much speed to push other teams, so I have Revenant still as an A tier legend. Now next up, while we have him here, we have Pathfinder next on the list. Pathfinder did have a low profile removed like they did on every legend. He really hasn't had many changes. He really still doesn't have a passive ability. They need to still give Pathfinder a passive ability. Ever since they did fix his grapple to where, you know, his cooldown is in relation to how far you were able to achieve that grapple, I really like Pathfinder a lot. He can take unexpected angles on teams. Pathfinder's great. The only thing that makes Pathfinder A tier and Octane so much better at S tier is Octane can move his entire team with speed and height, and Pathfinder's zipline is really predictable. It can't quickly get you out of a situation. It's not going to help you to third-party fights as efficiently, and that's kind of why Pathfinder is here at A tier and not at S tier, but Pathfinder is, trust me, a ton of fun in Season 9. So next up on the list, let's talk about Lifeline. Now with Lifeline, they did increase her hitbox size, mostly in the legs and the waist, so they gave her a little bit more booty, if you know what I mean. She's going to start looking like Loba on the battlefield a little bit. But anyway, they did think that since the low profile was removed for every single legend, that Lifeline was excelling in gunfights. Given that small hitbox, she was really extremely powerful in this season. Even with that res shield gone, I think I was really underestimating Lifeline at the beginning of this season. I thought she was going to be almost nothing without that res shield, but ever since she had her ultimate ability reworked, that's really helpful. She can res 2 teammates with the res shield. Her drone heals so fast now. Like, you can legitimately be 1 HP and throw down her heal drone and then pop a battery, and in 4 seconds it's like you took a Phoenix kit with Lifeline. You know, I think she's really good, honestly. In Battle Royale still. Her ultimate ability is going to get you better loot. Her revives are pretty huge. If you can kind of hold off and defend that revive. In Arena, Lifeline's broken. She's OP. But I kind of want to give her another A- or B+ tier. I don't want to say she's just B tier. She's better than B tier. But yeah, after that, let's move on. We'll go into Rampart here. Rampart, honestly, I feel like people play Rampart wrong, but if you play Rampart right, and if you set up right with Rampart, she's really not that bad. I kind of gave her a lot of flack earlier on. Her defenses can be destroyed, but you can kind of stack them and preemptively play against your opponents pretty well with her if you know what you're doing. I personally think Rampart's pretty fun. Gosh, I kind of want to give her a B tier. Like, I don't think Rampart's bad. If she sets up, if she's got her defenses, her ultimate ability is pretty useless. I'm going to say that. The turret, if you're playing against a good player, the good player is going to be able to counter that turret, whether that's with grenades or flanking, suppressive fire and having teammates use their abilities to kind of counter you. The turret's pretty predictable. But her being able to abuse the Spitfire, with the Spitfire being absolutely insane and still being an amazing gun, with the L-Star not being that bad. Like, the L-Star is pretty dang good. She can utilize the L-Star. And then the Devotion, that thing has been a beast for a long time. Like, she can utilize all three of those broken weapons better than any other legend. And those walls, you can really use them pretty effectively if you know what you're doing. I'm gonna have Rampart as B tier. So after that, we'll go into Bloodhound, and Bloodhound had the Eye of the Allfather scan revealed time, and they had that decreased from 4 seconds to 3 seconds. So now when you activate that Bloodhound scan, you're gonna see your enemy and their position, where they're moving, for 3 seconds, not for 4. They also changed Beast of the Hunt. The duration decreased from 35 seconds to 30 seconds. Honestly, that's not that big of a difference. The time can still be added by downing enemies. So you can still knock people while you're in Bloodhound's ultimate and still continue to build up that time and still continue to be in that ultimate ability. 4 seconds, 3 seconds, yeah, that's a little difference, but you can still just tap one button and you're going to be able to have insane information. I think that Bloodhound has been meta for far too long. Bloodhound, we need to give some other legends, maybe even Crypto, a little bit more love, because Bloodhound just does too much with so little. To me, I think Crypto is a great legend. I think he provides a lot to the team. He can get banners, he can revive in one click, he can scout, he can EMP. Like, I think Crypto is underutilized by a lot of players that play Apex Legends, but if you find somebody who can maximize Crypto's effectiveness, like, he can do some pretty crazy plays. But still, I'm still gonna put Crypto as A tier. I'm gonna have Crypto, if he's played well, Crypto is an A tier legend. He can even be S tier. The people in ALGS play him very well. You just have to find the perfect one and have the perfect teammates. So not everybody can do that. We're going to have Crypto as A tier. Next up, did you guys hear about the OP Wattson buff? Wattson mains rise up. Wattson's major buff. Wattson can now, this is legitimately, I'm going to read it word for word from their website. It says, Wattson, major buff. Wattson can now place more than one Nessie on the map at a time with her epic emote. That's legitimately what it says. Really, Apex? Are we serious? This is a major buff? Like, this is the biggest troll they could give to any legend. She's great, right? She's really good if you want to play that Wattson meta. If you have a team with you and you guys all want to play the Wattson camping, near a building playstyle, and her trophy system. Her hitbox is small. She doesn't have low profile anymore. I'd like to see Wattson meta again. Wattson was meta back, in season 2, season 3, like back in the day. But they need to make Wattson have a little bit more. And I think that they need to make Wattson's shield regeneration, I think it needs to be like as fast as Octane's health regeneration. Like, that wouldn't be broken. It wouldn't just make her a broken legend. Now, Fuse with this season. His major buff, he now can shoot 2 knuckle clusters. Fuse to me is the worst legend in the game. His knuckle cluster, like, it's mainly just like a Nerf gun just to scare people from being at a certain location. Doesn't do a ton of damage. His passive lets you shoot grenades fast, which can seem pretty cool. Like, it could be cool to shoot an arc star extremely fast at someone, but let's be honest, like, a lot of times if I'm playing Fuse, I want to throw grenades maybe more in the air, like a sky grenade, and I want that grenade to come down slowly on somebody's head. And that's kind of how I throw grenades a lot when I play any normal legend. I can't even do that with Fuse. Fuse is D tier to me. After that, we have Wraith. Wraith had her hitbox increased back in Season 8, but then they also took low profile off. So Wraith is really good again. I think Wraith is like on the verge of A to S tier. I think Octane's better than Wraith, but I still think she's really good. She has a really small hitbox. Obviously, she has that get out of jail free card. The portal is the only thing in the game that allows the entire team to reposition without taking any damage. You'll see her a lot in the ALGS as well for those big tournaments. All right, so next up we have Valk. Valk is used in the ALGS, and I kind of thought she was going to come in almost broken like Horizon did. She's pretty fair. Like, her mobility isn't out of this world, but she's really meant to be more of that recon legend, which I think she can take different angles, which is really critical to the team. You know, she can fly to high ground, or she can be a great sniper, like take an off angle with the sniper, with a bow. Her repositioning tool, her ultimate ability is really good. You'll see her in the ALGS. I don't think that anybody in the ALGS, which is the biggest tournament in the game, would play a legend that isn't A tier. I'll probably have Valkyrie over these two just because she's more competitive. Now after that, we got Mr. Caustic. Caustic is pretty toxic, but just because, you know, that stinky gas really likes to slow you down. But, you know, if you want to play that defensive play style and you want to play where you kind of play positioning, you get to those late game rings first, and you kind of fend people out with those Caustic traps, he's still really good. He can still defend a location very well. Caustic is better than Rampart and Wattson. I mean, Caustic was played on the championship winning team for K&G. We're going to have Caustic as A tier just because he can zone out teams. He can hold locations well. That stinky ultimate grenade can really impact fights. He's not broken like he was before, but he's definitely really competitive and really good. After that, we got Big Daddy Gibraltar, and this legend has been freaking insane. I almost want to put him as, you know, the top S tier legend, but we can have Octane and Gibby be right back to back. Where do I want to put Horizon? I don't think it's going to be D tier, but it's not B tier. We're going to put Horizon as C tier. The lift, she's so slow on the lift. They really nerfed Horizon far too much. I'd really like for her to have more speed on the lift. She can't even take that lift and stay at the top of it for very long. It pushes her right off. The lift is just so predictable. You know, we were so used to having Horizon be able to take the lift and pop a battery mid-air and slide down and just re-engage on that fight. And she was way too overpowered the way they had her. They just nerfed her way too much, honestly. We'll go Loba next. Loba's pretty good with her team. Her ability, she did get that buff where she can throw her bracelet and continue to run at a decent speed. And then when her bracelet lands, she doesn't get slowed like she did before. So Loba's definitely better. I'd probably have her closer in that B+ range. She is, in my opinion, better than these two legends. So she's closer to that A tier. The ultimate ability is really good for getting your entire team more loot. You know, when it comes to end game rings, when you're playing ranked and you're in an Apex Predator lobby, these legends right here are going to give you a lot more bang for your buck than a Loba. Being in the final ring and the ring's closing in, having an Octane jump pad, having a Gibby bubble, having a scan or speed, or having the phase ability is just going to give you a lot more potential to win that late game ring. And that's why these legends are seen a lot more in competitive instead of Loba. So Mirage is next. I know you guys are going to get mad at me because Mirage, I'm not a huge Mirage guy. His bamboozles aren't that hard to fall for. If you're a seasoned veteran player, Mirage is not the best. That Mirage revive while he's invisible and down, you're still going to hear it. You're still going to be able to capitalize on it. Mirage is not as good as Lifeline at reviving, not as good as Gibraltar at reviving. He's an offensive legend. Wouldn't you rather have a Revenant to use the ultimate, or wouldn't you rather have an Octane to use the jump pad? Wouldn't you rather have a Wraith to phase in and out? Mirage to me, C tier, underwhelming. A lot of people love him. So many people are going to be mad at me. He's probably C+ tier. He's definitely better than Horizon. Now, last but not least, we have Bangalore. And Bangalore to me is just that overall Good legend. Nothing too crazy. Everything balanced. They're not giving her any buffs. She's a great legend if you know how to use her. I'll have her on the verge of B to A tier. You know, her smokes got thicker this season, so they do kind of block out more vision from the enemies. But sometimes Bang can be annoying on your own team as well if her ultimate ability slows you down or if the smoke kind of hinders your vision on that enemy that you're trying to finish off. If you know how to play Bang, great. She could be A tier. If you don't, she can kind of stay more in that B tier category. All right, guys. Well, I hope you enjoyed this video. Make sure you like and subscribe if you enjoy content like this. I appreciate you watching the whole video, and I will have plenty more on the rest of the season. So make sure to stick around. And guys, I'll see you on the next video. I'm Grizzy, and I'm out. Peace.